Okay, so welcome. It is December 1st. It is Hammer and Chisel launch day. I know I spent a lot of time today just gathering information for blog posts, and the event that we created, I feel like worked pretty well to kind of keep the traction going. So hopefully people are excited as much as I am and my husband. I've been kind of tossing around in my mind where I want to go with Hammer and Chisel because it does run through the holidays. And I'll be honest, I don't exactly want to be on a strict eating plan the week of Christmas and New Year's. So initially we were going to start it, and then we were going to wait for New Year's. But then when I was talking to my husband, he's like, I'd rather start it. And even if I just follow it for 2 weeks and take a week off, like say Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve or whatever, like take that week, not like throw it all out the window, but like kind of have a little more flexibility there, and then just repeat that week and kind of jump back in. So I don't exactly know what I'm going to do, to be honest. I'm probably going to base it on how many participants I get for the test group. If I have a large number of people who are like wanting to commit through the holidays, then I'm probably going to just commit with them, because I feel like that's my role, is to support them and kind of guide and lead by example. So depending on how many people I have who are gung-ho and 100% dedicated, I will either carry it through with day one starting next Monday in the test group and run it all through the 60 days, or take a little break through Christmas. So stay tuned for that. Few things just wanted to go over. I've posted all the links at this point. So the Super Saturday, Super Friday, whatever you want to call it, that weekend is January 8th and 9th. Beachbody Barista Blackout, which means Friday night is going to be a blackout. So literally just wear all black. If you want to come comfy, wear your workout clothes. You can wear black bottoms, black top, and just be done with it there. Or you can, wear like a bit black jeans or black pants or leggings, whatever. I'll be somewhat casual, but I probably won't have my workout clothes. I'll probably change for the workout after. So that's the Friday night. Saturday morning, we're going to have a Dream Team wide training. It's going to be from 9 to 12. And then Saturday evening is the Dream Team just party celebration event. I've posted all the links for all of the tickets. There's a file in our team page, and I posted everything within that. So you should be able to find your tickets. These things will most likely all sell out. So I would definitely recommend getting them. And if your spouse is coming, he or she will need a ticket to these events too. So I bought a ticket for Kyle to come Friday night with me and Saturday night with me, but he's not going to do the training Saturday morning. So that's how I did it. You're welcome to do anything. If you're close to Pittsburgh, obviously it's not so big of a deal. You can kind of come and go. I will say, if you can get a spouse to attend these events with you, like events are huge regardless, like no matter what, events are a pretty big deal. If you can get a spouse to attend an event with you, kind of helps them to see the other side and like the excitement and the hype, and realize that this is not just you sitting in front of a computer every evening, that you're actually doing something with it, and that together as a company and as a team, we do make a difference. So I strongly support getting other people, or your spouses on board to come with you. And then Saturday evening, or like early evening, the Dream Team event starts at 7, I believe. So I wanted to do something together as a team around like 5 o'clock. So we can kind of figure out, who's all coming, if everyone's staying at the Omni. I'm somewhat familiar with downtown. There will be most likely just appetizers and desserts at the thing Saturday evening, and there'll be alcohol. You'll get like some alcohol tickets for the bar. So I want to do some sort of, get a count of who's going to be with us. We can kind of see who's going to be there. There's a couple different places we can go to that are walking distance from the Omni, but I definitely want to be able to get our team together for something. My thought is to get together around 4:30, 5 o'clock. That'll give us time to get, get together, hang out for a little bit, and then get up to the Mellon Arena, or not Mellon, that was the old name, Consol Energy Center, for the big party. If you have questions about those events or tickets, just post in the team page or shoot me a message. I can promise you it's going to be a good time. The party Saturday night is Emerald and above. I know I got some questions about that. So that much more of a push to get to that Emerald rank, because it's definitely not going to be something you want to miss, and the tickets, most likely will sell out. So I think there's 300, maybe 300 or 400 tickets for Saturday night, and there's 4,000 or 1,000 tickets for Friday night. So it's definitely a much smaller group. So that's that. Moving on, so November's gone. You know, we have said goodbye to November. I know it was a hard month for a lot of people. The holidays are tough. It's the time of year. Not a lot of people are thinking about, you know, getting into a new routine. It's, you know, it's colder weather. So for one, people are covering up with their leggings and their jackets and their boots and not really worrying about what they look like. And on top of that, people are busy. Like, you've got school events and holiday parties and work parties and traveling, and it's easier for people to say, forget it. I'm just going to, you know, start in January. But this is where your consistency is really going to pay off. So if you can be consistent now, and even if you keep getting a lot of no's, those no's as you're inviting are going to people who eventually are going to be like, you know what, enough is enough, and I need to do something to change. So I just encourage you to push through this slower time and, you know, keep inviting. And, you know, with December, we have Hammer and Chisel. So anyone who you've had that's done 21-day fix or fix extreme before, they would definitely be a good person to start with, to reach out to for Hammer and Chisel. And then just start thinking about people who, you know, like one thing that came to my mind is CrossFit people. Like, those people like to lift and lift heavy. So, you know, this program is a lot of lifting and a lot of lifting heavy. So in my, like, I don't know a ton of people that do CrossFit, but I certainly know some. So that's one thing that popped in my mind. I have an aunt that's actually pretty heavy into CrossFit. So here in Western Pennsylvania, when it gets super cold through December, January, February, and you may not want to be running out to the gym, maybe this would be something that people would want to try. So kind of get creative, get the spin on it. I had somebody who I was talking to her, her boyfriend or her husband actually bought her a fixed challenge pack last month for Christmas. So like, think of it that way too. You know, you can always make a post about investing in yourself and giving, you know, your significant other this as a gift, and look at it that way. I went and looked. I had some blog posts I had done last year, and I was debating kind of updating, redoing them. I'll post them in our team page, but they're really just about like balance through the holidays and why it's important to take the time now to invest in you. Did not even notice for myself, like I didn't work out this morning because I fell asleep or went up in the middle of the night to my daughter's room and just stayed up there. So my husband woke me up and I was like, I'm just going to take the day off. I was so edgy. And it's not the same. So, you know, doesn't always have to be about the weight loss. You know, share the other things that it can do for you, and the patience that it provides when you're home with your children, I think is a huge benefit. So just to take a few minutes to recognize, we had quite a few people who hit Success Club 10, which was pretty cool. So Reagan Long topped our charts with 22 Success Club points, and I will say her husband's at the bottom there at 5. So when you combine those, she actually got like 27 Success Club points. Melissa right behind her at 13, Breyer at 12, Kyle Blanca topped the charts at 10, had to get him to a stable diamond. He's all excited. He's like, I got it. He got an email about something. I don't know if it's because it's the first time he ever hit Success Club 10 or what, but he was all excited. Holly Whitworth at 10 and Stephanie Plumley at 10. And we have a good number of people who still hit Success Club, and, you know, a lot of you who were super close and just didn't make it this month. But know that everyone you talked to last month is more of a not now. You know, don't take it as a no. Remember that these people do come back around, and just keep that list. You know, don't scratch anybody off. So I just wanted to share those. Super happy for everyone who, you know, pushed through the holiday month. No surprise, Hammer and Chisel is the challenge pack of the month promotion. So it's $160 the month of October or December, and it's available in both a Shakeology challenge pack and a Beachbody performance challenge pack. So again, those gym goers who may not want to do a Shakeology meal replacement, or those CrossFit people who they may be into something else, the performance challenge pack is going to come with the Energize and the Recover, which I love the Recover. I actually, when I ordered this for my husband, well, for us, I ordered him the full performance line. So he's committed to doing, he's like, I want to do like everything to a T that they say, and that's just the type of person he is. So he's going to use the full performance line with it. I'm just going to continue using Energize because I use that every day anyways. And I think I'm probably going to add in the Recovery because it's to help with sore muscles. And I definitely think with this change in program that I will be needing it. So this one's not available in a Kickstart. I feel like just to make people know that most programs that have been on promotion in the last couple months have been like the regular challenge pack and then a challenge pack kickstart with the refresh, and this is not. So just pointing that out. Also, I logged out of my account today, and I went in as just a customer, like just to the shop tab, and the Fix and Fix Extreme are both showing up still at a $140 promotional price. I do not know how long that is going to stay there, because when I looked initially in the FAQs, those promotions were slotted to end on November 30th. When I looked at like 2 o'clock-ish today, they were still showing at $140. Now the kickstarts were removed. So the kickstarts were not at the $160 price. Those were $180. Or wait, that is the promo price, $180 for the kickstart. So yes, they're all still showing at the promotional price. So if you had someone who was, I know I get those people who are like, I'm going to order tonight, and then they fall face to the earth and you never talk to them again. If you have those people, let them know if they've missed the deadline of November 30th that, and check before you message them. Because like I said, that was earlier this afternoon. Sometimes things take some time. But when I went and looked, it was still showing the promotional pricing. So maybe some extra follow-ups to get December started off strong. The launch party, I mentioned this a little bit at the beginning. I feel like it went pretty well. I'm going to keep it open and continue to post things like just once a day over the next few weeks or next few days. Like I think I slotted it to end on Friday. But just for people who are still kind of thinking about it, that's why I did things like, if you purchased, comment below just to draw that traffic up. So like if you do a workout, like even if you just do the on demand, like I could even just post my picture of Kyle and I from tonight in that event page and be like, did one of the sneak peeks, can't wait to get the full program. Just things like that. The more participation from everyone, the more it's going to show up in other people's newsfeed, because it's a public event. So you commenting on it, even though like you didn't create it, like you commenting on that will show up in other people's feed because it's public. So keep that in mind if you want to like do a workout from there, or just something that like you ordered it, whatever it is, the more that you can post in that event page over these next few days, it'll just draw the traffic up. So still planning to do a little coaching, kind of test group ourselves. I don't plan on running that like the full 60 days. But I thought we could start that, and I could even start it, as soon as now. I could start it tonight and just kind of share some ideas and things. I started saving images that I came across as I was working on blog posts. I could post those in that page, just for anyone who's purchased it, planning to recruit for it, and then, start the test group. So, and also I talked about this, but just my test group, I'm still going to promote and recruit for a December 7th test group, and then kind of gauge the participants' level of interest as far as, are they committed through the holidays, or do they want, is this going to be like a soft run where you kind of just get familiar with it, get your equipment ready, get it all started, and then, truly dedicate day one after the new year? That is what is still up in the air. So after all that long introduction and updates and all the know-hows, what we need to know, I wanted to take a little bit of time tonight to talk to you guys about where to go after Facebook. So I think sometimes it's easier, I know it's easier for some than others, but when you first get started, a lot of people have a Facebook page that they use. So you're friends with people on there, you communicate with people on there, those people already trust you. So it's easier when you start posting on Facebook to share a picture or share an invite and get people to respond to you because they know you. But eventually that warm Facebook pool is going to run out, and the people who you can call and the close friends and family that, like, whether you're one challenge pack away from Success Club and that family member that you can call and be like, hey, could you help me out? Like, that's all going to run out at some point. So how do you build a business after that? How do you move forward? So there's a few different things that you can think of. Your business, and you can go about this however you want to. I will share what I've done and why I did it the way I did it. My approach was based on, I wanted to get to know one thing before I moved on to another. So I was very familiar with Facebook. So I started posting on Facebook regularly. And I had started coaching in March. And I remember I had gone to Summit that June, and I was sitting beside a girl who had been coaching for about a year and a half, and she was on Instagram, and she's telling me how like every Success Club point she gets now is from Instagram. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even use Instagram. Like, I get all my Success Club points from my Facebook friends. And she's like, it's gonna happen. She's like, so start doing it now. And I'm like, okay. So about 3 months into working the business, I started using Instagram, and I really I linked my Instagram to my personal Facebook page, and whatever I post on Instagram gets posted directly to Facebook. And you can either link them and post them directly, or put it on Instagram, copy paste the text, paste it to Facebook, however you want to do it. But pretty much what I put on Instagram, I put on Facebook. Now, there's probably more things I put on Facebook. Like, I do try to keep Instagram a little more streamlined to the coaching aspect. Yes, my life, and I'll include, my family and other things that I do. But for the most part, I only post on there like 3 times a day. I don't post, like, can't do a status update on Instagram. So I'd say I post less on Instagram. But things that go on Instagram do go to Facebook, but not always the opposite. Like, sometimes Instagram, like, your pictures have to be clear. You want them to be a scroll stopper, because people just, just like Facebook, you're scrolling, you want those images are what matter more than anything. Where Facebook, people know you personally a little bit more, so people may be more inclined to read what you put in words. Instagram, you've got to stop them with the picture. So if I have a picture that's like blurry but super cute of my kids, I may paste that on Facebook, but probably not on Instagram, because I don't feel like it's going to add any value on Instagram. It's just going to get scrolled by. So a little bit of thought goes into it, but for the most part, what I post on Instagram, I post on my Facebook page. And with Instagram, there's trainings. Chalene Johnson, I told myself I was going to do it this year, and it's December and I haven't done it yet. But Chalene Johnson has an Instagram impact training. I want to say it's like $100 maybe. I know Deidre had done it like a year and a half ago and gave us all her login, but at this point she's like done an updated one, just because social media is always changing. So I don't think the one that she did would really be that beneficial at this point. But, it goes through like how to hashtag and, how you can, like, little things. I know I've posted them in different groups, but I have a document that goes through how to change your profile. So, like, if you look at my profile on Instagram, like, my name is on the first line and it's kind of spaced out a little bit. So little tricks like that. But Chalene Johnson does a really good training from everything I've heard, and I've yet to do it, and I want to do it. So that might be something that goes in my goal board for 2016, because I've heard so much good things about it. And I haven't been as consistent with Instagram. Like, if I go look now, like, I haven't hashtagged several pictures, and that's where you get people. Like, that's how you get new people, is through your hashtags. So I wouldn't say I'm an Instagram pro, but I will say I'll go through spurts where I do a lot of Instagram. Like, Carrie was a coach of mine I found on Instagram. We connected through running when I was training for the Pittsburgh Marathon Relay. So it had nothing to do with coaching at that time. And here she is now, a coach. So, and Melissa and I first connected through Instagram. So, like, I think I kind of went through a period of time where I was getting a lot through Instagram, and then I kind of backed off. So I need to invest in that a little bit more, because it's a great way to find people with common interests and, just connect. And I always try to then bring from Instagram to Facebook. So we could have a separate call on all these things, like Instagram, blog, Twitter, and the like page. But my recommendation, if you haven't done Instagram yet, it's a really good place to start after Facebook, because you can link the two. It's all about pictures. We're all posting pictures anyways. So, just like Facebook, you want to keep it consistent, 3 to 5 times a day. The difference here is really, in my mind, it's the hashtags. And there's a lot of tools out there that can help you see, like, when your Instagram friends are actually online, that will tell you when to post. And again, my technology level is like way below par, and I've never figured that out, but I know there's things out there. So if you like Instagram and you like taking cool photos, this would be an area worth an investment of your time, whether it's the Chalene Johnson Instagram impact training or some Googling. I should like pull together a reference list, because I know there's tons of calls. Like, in the Dream Team, if you looked in the call files, you would find calls on all of these topics. But just kind of know where you want to go with that. The blog. So I got a message from someone the other day that's like, well, she just signed up as a coach. Like, and I created my Instagram account and I created a blog and I made a business like page. And while that ambition is admirable, you got to be able to keep it up, because it would be better to do two things really well than to like half-ass four of them, because then you're not going to get anywhere. Like, get good and consistent at one. So I added an Instagram, and then about a month later when I started Pio, it's like I'm not a natural writer. In my mind, if you're going to have a blog, you have to at least somewhat enjoy writing. And I kind of forced myself to enjoy writing a little bit more, because what happened was I saw, like, I was in my challenge groups and I started running I ran mine with Deidre. She was my upline coach. And she was always posting her blog links. And then like my challengers would ask questions, and I would go to her blog and pull answers for her. And I'm like, well, this is dumb. Like, I'm giving her all this traffic. Like, I should just do this myself. So I started my blog with about 3 posts a week. And I did it with my Pio journey. So like, I kind of had like a reason to write each week. So like, my blog's not so much like a story. My blog is very informational. Like, some people who are good at writing, like Sarah Griffith has a great blog, and hers is more like a story of her life, and she kind of incorporates all her Beachbody stuff within that, where mine's just like, this is what I'm doing, kind of more pinpoint. So I would do every Sunday night, I would recap my week before of Pio, and I would share my meal plan. And the blog, you got to think of like things that people would Google search. Meal plans, especially of a new program. Like, I can tell you, I'll be, more diligent with like actually documenting my meal plans instead of just keeping them in my head with hammer and chisel. Because as people start to hear about this new program, they're going to Google it. And they're going to Google, what is this program? And they're going to say, what's the meal plan like? And I want to pull them into my blog. So you get new people in. So I've done it with every new program that's come out since I had my blog, is I document my first round of whatever. So like, 21 Day Fix, I had already done that by the time this started. I started with Pio, and like P90, I didn't do the full program because it was 90 days. But I did like 2 weeks of each phase, so that I could at least write about it and talk about it so people could Google search and ask about it. So if you think you might want to start a blog and you're going to do hammer and chisel, this would be a great thing to do. So I would do my journey, like, post every Sunday, and then I would post it on Facebook, and here's the latest of week 3 of Pio. And then throughout the week I would do recipes, because not everybody's going to be interested in what you thought of Pio drench and Pio buns and all that kind of stuff, but they're interested in the recipes. And if you keep pulling them back to your blog, then they're going to start seeing the other things you're posting and get more interested in it. But I would usually do, especially in the beginning, I would do like a Shakeology recipe a week, because that's another thing people are going to Google. When they hear about Shakeology, they're going to Google like, what's a good Shakeology recipe or chocolate recipe. And then I would do like another recipe, like a dinner or a side or an appetizer or whatever. So that was my layout when I got started. People often ask me, like, did you make everything up? No, but I would usually twist something in a recipe that I saw so that it could then become my own. So sometimes I would do like, this was inspired by such and such, and I would kind of reference something else. But for the most part, I would take a recipe and tweak it and do, for the most part, I would find recipes. I never had all the stuff they needed anyway, so I would just kind of wing it and then just share my own recipe. But people like recipes, and that's something that your Facebook friends, if you post that blog link on Facebook, even if they have nothing to do with Beachbody, they might be interested in your new butternut squash soup, or your cookies that you're taking to a party, whatever it is. So that's just another way to pull people in. So you can, in my mind, you can kind of go about your blog like different. You can just document your life and kind of make it more of a story, or you can make it more of like the informational. And I do things like, in the beginning, I did it more so in the sense that if somebody would say I'm traveling, like I did one in December of last year, and it was how to stay on track while traveling, or I think it was called traveling and something about staying on track while you're traveling. I forget what I called it, but point being, can you stay on track for the holidays even if you're traveling? Because I always am traveling. So I did that blog post, but that blog post became a reference for me in my challenge groups, because any holiday that we come up or a weekend, I share that blog post to my challenge group so that people have some ideas of what are some healthy snacks to take with you on the go. And just those types of things that like your challengers might want. If you write it up in a blog post one time, Then when you're in your challenge group, all you have to do is copy paste that. So you can, and like that's how you draw the traffic. So I remember I wrote my first blog post, and then I did a chicken salsa recipe, and then I Googled for it, like Megan Blinka chicken salsa, and it didn't come up. Well, that's because my blog had no traffic on it, so it wasn't going to come up in a Google search with, you know, hundreds of other thousands, millions of recipes. So by using it in my challenge groups, that started getting me more clicks and more, you know, more traction on my blog, which then drove it to where other things that I would post would get, you know, they would come up in a Google search. Like so many people who would fill out my challenge group application, they said I Google searched 21-day fix and you came up. But it took me a while to get to that. So, you know, while you may still be able to go to your friends or your family or your Facebook or your coworkers or whatever, if you can start building that blog now and having that traction, you'll start building or drawing in people from all over the place. Like, so one thing I always tell like other coaches, I'm like, I love how social media has allowed me to grow this incredible team. But like, I don't have any local coaches or few local coaches. Like, I don't have anybody in my town as a coach of mine because Carrie's actually close to me, but we met on Instagram. Like, it's crazy how spread out we all are, but that's because I literally drove my business through social media. It's, you know, it's a blessing in that sense because you really can market and attract to people from all over the place. So the blog to me now is one of my main drivers. And, you know, a lot, and it comes also, and I didn't put Pinterest on here. My only interaction on Pinterest is I pin whatever images I put on my blog, I pin them to Pinterest. But that alone, that's the other thing. A lot of, like, when you think about who's on Pinterest, it's pretty much moms, like, looking for home decor or recipes for their kids. So, like, I think of that as I'm writing blog posts and, like, what can I tag a picture in a blog to be able to then have it be searched for something on Pinterest or on Google or whatever. And I did do a call on creating a blog. So if this is something that you want, it's in, I think it's on my YouTube channel, but by all means, I can always send you the link if you can't find it. But if you haven't created one yet, and you're thinking of it, I now see, like, I just saw all these successful coaches had blogs. So I was like, I'm just going to create a blog and go with it. And I just kind of taught myself, and would just figure things out as I went. But I can say now, like, I'm really glad I did that because, like, I don't know where I would be getting people at this point in my business. So that's that. Twitter, I can't tell you much about Twitter other than I know people use it. I don't have an account, but it is an option. Like, I know people use it for their Beachbody business. I mean, I guess it would be similar, like posting statuses as you do on Facebook. You can post them on Twitter. If you're interested in Twitter, I think less people do use it, at least in my opinion. I don't know anybody that really uses Twitter. So in my mind, I feel like if I were willing to figure out Twitter, that would be a big market because I don't feel like it's as common. Like, you hear about Instagram and blog, I feel like you hear less about Twitter. That's about all I can say about Twitter because I don't know anything else about it. But, and then the Facebook like page. So this one, I feel like the blog is going to take more of your time, but not cost you anything more other than your time because it is time consuming. Instagram, I don't really think it adds that much at all because if you're linking your pictures, it doesn't really make that much of a change. Your Facebook like page, this is one that you can, like, I post a lot of what I post on my personal page on my like page, but this one, to actually get more traction on your like page, you have to pay for ads. So Katie Ersta did an amazing call last night for the Dream Team. I posted the link. I haven't posted the recording yet, but she did it all on her like page because her like page has been like her main driver for her business. And she went over some tips of creating one. The thing with the like page, you do get to pay for like sponsored ads for it to show up in other people's newsfeed. So Facebook doesn't want you to use your personal page for business. They want you to pay for a like page, which creating the like page is free, but you know, to build it usually costs some money. They would rather you pay for the business, the like page, and, you know, generate revenue from that. So they don't really want you using your personal page. So Facebook has all these funky algorithms on like who can see your stuff, and you know, it's why we always say on like for your Facebook page, the more you're interacting with other people and as you invite them, even if they say no, they're going to start to see your stuff on Facebook as long as you stay in contact with them, because that's how Facebook works. Like, people see your stuff who interact with you or who you like their posts and that kind of stuff. So the like page, like, I have posts on my like page that nobody ever likes. And I think people just don't see them, because if I don't boost a post and it wasn't at the exact right time, it just doesn't show up in people's news feeds. So I will say I have had some success. Stephanie's not on here, but Stephanie Plumley, she was my most recent like page person. But so it does generate business for me, don't get me wrong, but it also costs a little bit. So it's kind of one of those, like, I know that when I boost posts, I'm more likely to get something out of it, but still not always. Like, I boosted a post for my Black Friday sale last week, and I didn't get anything out of that one. So it's $20. I got nothing. So it's kind of hit or miss. Again, there's a lot of information out there if you want to research it. If you want to stick with Facebook, like, you could do, Facebook and a like page. If you're short on time, I think that might be a good option, but you have to put the money out to then promote it. So it's kind of wherever you feel, wherever your interests really are. My like page is pretty similar. I kind of like my like page as far as content and Instagram are pretty similar, in the sense that I don't post like random statuses or random pictures of my kids or whatever. Like, I try to keep it very much, my exercise, my nutrition, that aspect through Instagram and Facebook, my like page. So a lot of people will link their Instagram to their like page. I haven't done that, because, to be honest, I usually just copy paste and put things on all three. Like, put on my Instagram, I put on my business page, and I put it on my personal page. So if you're interested in like page and haven't created one yet, I highly recommend listening to Katie's call from last night. I can post the recording in our team page. But I think big picture, when you're ready to move on to the next thing, it's kind of one of those, like, get good at one and then move on to the other, and then get good at this. And like, I can kind of zip through all these things, and I have my calendar. Like, now I typically do 2 blog posts a week, unless something else is going on and I have more to say or share. But it's consistency posting on Instagram, consistency on your blog, consistency on wherever you are. But, kind of take it one by one and master one and move on to the other, and master that and move on to the other. And if you don't like something, you don't have to keep doing it. Like, just because I have a blog doesn't mean you have to have a blog. If you despise writing, kind of gauge it by what you're interested in, and, kind of run from there. So I hope that helps give everyone a little bit of an overview for the different types of options as far as where to go after your like page. I think that, we can do separate calls on all of these as far as tips and ideas of, how to maximize and utilize, all the different tools and stuff within, like, the blog. I know when I had done the call on blogging, like, I went over tagging, because that's the other thing. Like, put the blog post out there, it's just kind of sitting there. You have to add tags to your photos so that when somebody Google searches them, it brings them to those images. Like, that's where your images come from when you're on Google. People tag those in something else. So I think it's a lot to learn. I don't want anyone to feel like overwhelmed and like, oh my gosh, I have to have all these things. But know what options are out there and think about where you might want to go next. And, just don't stop learning. The more you can, there's so much things you can Google and learn and listen to when you're in the car. Pick one and run with it, and then ask questions as you have them. So that is all I have for you tonight. Does anyone have any questions? Anything about the launch that they're not sure of with Getting Hammer and Chisel? Anything? All righty. Well, I will let you all go. Have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for getting on.